Speaker Pelosi backed away from. And what did she replace it with? $54 billion in new mandatory spending. At a time when inflation is through the roof, families are pleading with Washington to stop the spending, to get control over inflation that is tied to Washington spending.
So Joe Biden, everybody, his spending bill is his top priority, and he's ready to be, and Joe Biden's ready to send out checks. On the first day of the tax filing season, the federal government unveiled a revamped website to help people who are eligible for the extended child tax credit. That's under last year's crisis relief bill that claimed the second half of the payment that they were due. According to the Treasury Department, the site, everybody, was the online child tax credit website. And folks, this showed taxpayers his filing options. It also included eligibility information and the instructions on how to obtain the credit. Folks, this is very useful information for those of you that received an expanded monthly CTC payment last year. As part of President Biden's stimulus package, though, it included a monthly payment of up to $300 per child. The child tax credit also got a boost, and according to the Treasury Department, since the payments were first disbursed in July, the Treasury and the IRS have delivered approximately $93 billion to tens of millions of families. That happened many times. For the tax year of 2022, the CTC payment refers to $2,000 per qualifying child per year. In addition, this year, the age of eligibility is extended to age 17. So as tax filing season begins, the Treasury's priority is ensuring that eligible families are able to receive the full child tax credit. So this relief has helped families pay for essentials when they need it the most, and by getting the second half or the full amount of the credit millions of people continue to receive. So the good news is that more stimulus money for families will likely be added to President Biden's spending bill. A group of Senate Democrats are still urging President Biden to get a beefed-up child tax credit included as part of any agreement on a sweeping climate and spending bill. Democratic Senators Michael Bennet, Sherrod Brown, Cory Booker, and Raphael Warnock all wrote the letters to President Biden and Kamala Harris to send out more stimulus payments. They said that it's needed to extend this critical investment in American families and children as part of the Build Back Better package. Democrats have temporarily expanded the child tax credit in early 2021 as part of a sweeping relief package enacted to provide $3,600 or $300 per month. Senators said in the letter the expanded child tax credit represents the biggest investment in American families and children in a generation. It's a signature domestic policy, and it's an achievement of this administration. The consequences, everybody, of failing to extend a child tax credit expansion are dire, particularly as families face another wave of the crisis. Raising taxes on working families is the last thing lawmakers should do. Discussions on extending the expanded child tax credit were also tied to President Biden's Build Back Better bill. And that bill hit a pause in the Senate after Joe Manchin during an interview last year said that he didn't want to support the bill. Folks, that's kind of disappointing, and I think that President Biden has to do something about this. If you guys agree, tell me in the comments below.
At pharmacies and grocery stores across the country. Last year, following historic investments in our nation's infrastructure and in our families and communities, our economy grew faster than it has in nearly 4 decades, and unemployment dropped back below 4%. Thanks to support for schools to get tests and masks and improve ventilation and meet our students' needs, schools are now in a much stronger position today to safely stay open for in-person learning. And following the efforts we took to lower costs, a record 14.5 million people got health care through the federal exchange last year, and they saved on average over $2,000 a year. We've also saved pensions that workers and retirees rely on from devastating cuts.